Watson Compare and Comply is AI applied to contract and document understanding. Compare and Comply extracts data from complex, unstructured documents to power automated business processes, reducing errors, costs, and risks. The models powering Watson Compare and Comply have been trained by IBM subject matter experts, built by a highly skilled team of data scientists with expertise in the area of legal language understanding, and are continuously improved based on feedback from users. Across the documents that govern business, whether those are contracts, invoices, mortgages, etc., there are common concepts, linguistic structures, and ways in which information is encoded within documents. Watson Compare and Comply starts users off with pre-trained understanding of those shared aspects of documents. From time to time, however, a client may have a unique need or a company-specific way of interpreting concepts that differs from the understanding built into Compare and Comply's base models. For those cases, IBM Watson has built a mechanism by which knowledgeable professionals at a client company can customize and tune models based on their use case and understanding of key concepts and documents. This feature is available in premium plans. Customizations and insights created within a premium plan of Watson Compare and Comply are owned by the client company and not shared with other users. So let's imagine that my use case involves understanding information pertaining to intellectual property and trademarks. I need to make sure that I'm not at risk due to any IP or trademark usage stipulated in my contracts. When reviewing a document, I notice that a contractual element that I would identify as trademarks has been labeled as intellectual property. Investigating further, I can review the definition of intellectual property to understand how Compare and Comply's models have been trained. While I can see how this might align with some interpretations, my use requires a slightly different understanding. In my organization, we think of trademarks as a concept distinct from intellectual property, and it looks like this would be a new category for Compare and Comply. Now that I know the change I want to see in Compare and Comply models, I review the contract for relevant elements and suggest that the system remove the intellectual property label and add the new label trademarks. The tooling may ask the user whether they want to provide feedback on similar elements. This interaction speeds up the user's process and helps the system discern how to best improve based on the user's feedback. The user can exit this flow at any time. Behind the scenes, the machinery is learning from the feedback I provided in order to surface recommendations of how Compare and Comply models can be updated to better benefit my organization's specific needs. This feedback and learning process can be completed by a subject matter expert or business user who understands the needs of the organization when it comes to understanding contracts. This video has been edited for time, but I provided feedback on 16 elements total for the purposes of this demonstration. Once I've provided suggestions, I can check the Recommendations tab to see whether the system is ready with any recommendations for me to review as I seek to improve Compare and Comply for my use case. It takes a few minutes for the machinery to learn, so we may have to check back in a little while. This video has been edited for time so that we can see what the next steps would be. Checking back in, now we can see a set of recommended actions surfaced by Compare and Comply's learning machinery based on the feedback we've given. One of those recommendations is to relabel intellectual property to trademarks. I can evaluate whether I'm comfortable with this recommendation because I can see how it aligns with the feedback I've given and what I want the service to identify, so I can decide to accept this recommendation. The service allows you to see what projected precision recall numbers will be after the given recommendations are deployed. Evaluating model quality and performance is more nuanced than just assessing these two numbers, but they do provide a snapshot into model quality that users can check to have one insight into how models are changing over time. Once the user is satisfied, having reviewed recommendations, decided what to accept or reject, and having looked at indicators of anticipated changes as a result of these model updates, the user can choose to deploy the new version of the model. In the background, the model automatically implements the approved changes within the user's organization or client-specific premium plan. Please keep in mind that what I've shown now is the first version of this capability, and this experience will evolve over time. We can now see that training is complete and go on to assess the updated model. We can now upload the same document to evaluate the changes made to our model according to the feedback we've given and the recommendations generated by the service. In conclusion, with these capabilities, a client is able to leverage both Compare and Comply's pre-trained understanding of documents, as well as the expertise of professionals that are uniquely knowledgeable about the use case at hand. We now see 16 elements marked with trademarks. We've successfully added the new category. The service has been updated to align with my understanding and preference for what is returned by Compare and Comply when it comes to the documents I care about and my specific use case needs. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to talking with you more about Watson Compare and Comply.